Hi there, this is Brent, and I'm here with another video tutorial on how to make an old computer run like new. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, Greg, how do I upgrade to Windows 10? And a lot of these people, they might be ready to make the jump to Windows 10, but their machines aren't. So what we're going to go through today is the process of getting an old machine up to speed for new software, and that might mean changing a few things on the inside. So if you come along with me, we'll take a look at this machine and I'll show you what it looked like before, and then when we're done with our modifications, you'll be able to compare it to what it looks like now. So now we're just going to go ahead and boot up the old machine.
As you can see, this computer isn't really in top condition, so we're going to go ahead and clean up the hard drive and install a couple new chipsets and see what we can do to get this thing running. Before we can get to work, the first thing we have to do is turn it off and get it unplugged.
Now that we've got the old machine unplugged, let's take it on over to the workstation to get started with our modifications.
Remember, having a clean workstation is almost as important as having the right tools and the right knowledge to get the job done, so before you get started, clean off your workspace. For this job, you're going to need pliers, wire cutters, a Phillips head screwdriver, and an anti-static bracelet. Also, a multi-tool might come in handy. This particular PC has buttons on either side that open up the side plate. However, most modern PCs just have two screws at the back that allow you to get at the inside. Don't get intimidated when you first see the inside. I know it looks like there's a lot going on in there, but once you understand what each piece does, it'll be a lot easier. First, we're going to remove the hard drive, starting with the cables. Set that aside for later. Next, we'll remove the RAM that's held in place by two small buttons at either end of the chips. Set them aside too. Now it's time to put on that anti-static bracelet and attach the alligator clip somewhere on the body of the PC to discharge any static in your body. Now comes the fun part. Let's remove the intercooler, saving the screws for later. After that, remove the heatsink that sits on top of the CPU chip. Set aside the computer for now. The biggest cause of slowdowns on an old PC is that the hard drive is too heavy. This weight is caused by unnecessary data. Your hard drive should weigh around 500 grams. If it's too heavy, give it a thorough wash in the sink. Don't forget to dry it off well, as moisture can be bad for other internal components. "500 grams. Perfect. Next, we'll remove the heatsink from the CPU chip. It's unnecessary and was only put there by the manufacturer to look important. Now place the chip back in its slot. Press it gently into place with your multi-tool. Now it's time to look at the RAM. This computer simply doesn't have enough, but if you carefully cut the chips in half, you will have twice as many. This is an industry secret. Now we'll add a few more chips for good measure. I'm using Doritos Sweet Chili Heat, but chips of any flavor will help nourish your PC, adding to the speed. Tap the parts gently into place with your multi-tool to ensure a good seat. Next, we will remove some unnecessary parts, like these cables. And these things. They're purely aesthetic and are only slowing your performance. Now reinstall the hard drive and move on to the last step, installing Windows 10. Remove your disk drive. Place the disk inside, ensuring that it's reassembled properly. Place the drive back in the case. You may now close the case and plug it back into your peripheral devices.
Welcome back, everybody. We finished our modifications and we learned a lot in the process. So what we're going to do now is we're going to boot it up and see if everything we did has actually made the difference. So we'll just turn her on here and we'll see what happens.
We've taken the liberty of creating a new account on the old machine and installing a few programs. We also added a new background for good measure.
Well, as you can see, the modifications we made here tonight have really pushed this machine to peak performance. If you've got an old machine, make sure to follow this step-by-step guide and you'll have it running like clockwork in no time. I've been your host, Greg Brent. We'll see you soon.